Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. This one is completely bizarre because we've got Akshan. I was going to say Ashcan, but Akshan, I assume, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know, but you know, one of you'll correct me if I'm wrong. But we have a new champion. I don't know why. There's been no follower cards. Nothing like that, so I'm guessing we are getting like a full spoiler season. We're getting like an extra expansion, I'm guessing here, which I guess is why the devs were like, oh, you know, we weren't able to do live balance because of this. But anyway, let's just dive in. I have no idea what's going on because this is also like come out an hour early as well. Let's just go.
Scores to settle, crooks to kill. You know how it is. I do not break.
So action. That's what I'm going to go with. It's a 2-mana 2/2 quick attack. When I'm summoned or strike, summon a Warlord's Palace or advance it 1 round of it's already in play. This is a Shurima card, so instantly, I'm assuming the advance it means that it's a landmark, right? And it says Palace on it, so there'll be something like that. You have completed the countdown on Warlord's Palace. When I level up, summon a Warlord's Horde. Let's see what all of these things are.
Break rules, I bend them slightly. Villains beware.
Okay, there is a Warlord's Palace, which is a countdown 8. Create a Relic of Power in hand. When you target allies, advance me 1. Ooh, that's quite interesting. So already we've got kind of some, you know, maybe like Taric type things going on here. Maybe some Shurima Targon things could go on. Maybe like Riven as well. You know, that kind of works. Draven with the axes, of course. So there's already some synergies that we have here. But everything's just creating more cards.
Make these pieces whole.
In and out.
Submission or death for all who live.
We obviously know Viego.
Everyone should have a grappling hook.
Grappling Hook is a 3-mana slow speed spell. An ally that has been targeted this round strikes an enemy. Ooh, that's quite interesting. So it is slow speed, which is kind of like a bit of a problem. And you do have to target something as well. But, you know, like with Draven or something, you know, this works quite well because you think about it, you can use 1 spinning axe on Draven. That counts as your target. Say you then attack, right? Then you use this. That will level Draven up because you've got the 2 strikes with the spinning axe. So that's kind of a, you know, neat little synergy that came to mind pretty early. Other than that, it could work with some things because, you know, there are like, you think of things like, often these strike cards are things that you want to keep alive, you know, to get the strike ability off multiple times. So therefore you are often targeting them with multiple things. So this might not be that bad of a card because it kind of fits within what you are already doing. So it could work with some effects, like, you know, I'm thinking like River Shaper or something like that. You know, you target it, you keep it alive with a spell, and then you use this, and then that's an extra strike, and then that's good for you, and then, you know, all things go well. Yeah, it's slow speed, so it's going to be limited, but, you know, I think it's one of these cards, like a kind of, I wouldn't be shocked if this ended up as like a siphoning strike, you know, something that you just kind of throw into a deck every so often and catches your opponent off guard and kind of, you know, helps you win the game.
Fixing the world, one scoundrel at a time.
Okay, maybe not the best level up we've ever seen, but it was interesting. So obviously gets 2-mana 3/3 quick attack. When I'm summoned or strike, summon a Warlord's Horde or advance it 1 round if it's in play. So we still haven't seen Warlord's Horde, I don't think. This is it, I assume.
What was theirs is now ours. Yoink. We laugh at death. Ha! The world won't save itself, you know. This is justice. I thought we were leaving our dragons at home. hug it out?
Okay, so this is what this thing gives you. So I'm going to read this. I'll go back through it. I'm not sure if the cards are on Mobalytics yet, to be honest. I don't think they are. So I'll try and figure it out. So let's see what these are. The Absolver's Resurrection. So that had an 8 countdown as well, I'm pretty sure. So grant all enemies vulnerable and create in hand a 0-cost copy of the strongest allied that died this game. I mean, that's pretty good. You know, giving all allies vulnerable for 0 mana. Focus speed, you create in hand a 0-cost copy of the strongest ally, and assuming that can be champions as well. So yeah, pretty decent. Draw 2, your cards cost 1 less this round. Obviously, if you're looking to like close out a game, that could be very useful. I don't mind these because they're all kind of situational. Grant your champions everywhere spell shield and +2/2. So I kind of like this. This is pretty strong because it's all going to depend on the situation. You know, if you think I'm really close to winning, you know, I can win this round, you know, you'll go for this one, the Fount of Power. You know, if you're like, you know, this game's going to keep grinding, my champions are quite important, then obviously you're going to go for this one on the right. And if you're thinking like, you know, it's again kind of a bit grindy, but I have a board and my strongest ally is like, you know, a massive thing with, you know, overwhelm or something, or elusive, or, you know, and it's big, then, you know, that one will be pretty good. So I kind of like, you know, this feels like an effect that is worthy. It will take some time to go off though, I think.
Impeccable taste, my friend.
You're dead.
Are just the beginning.
Talk is worthless. We are
Ooh,
what
card
we
back.
do.
Okay, these like things that are going on seem to be lasting longer and longer and longer. Like, you know, they put Shop Site on Viego. Like, I don't know why they had to show us that. I'm just going to quickly check if the cards are like up anywhere else so I can get a better sense of it. But if not, then we're just going to go through it using as much info as we can. Well, when in doubt, Cosmic will always bail you out of a tight spot. As you can see, we've got loads to talk about today. And I guess we're getting 3 champions, I would guess. Kind of makes sense, but I don't know why they revealed it today. Obviously, there's a lot of cards to go through today, so let's try and get through it. So, what didn't we see? Warlord's Horde is a 1-mana thing that has a countdown 8. So they both have countdown 8s. And that creates a Sentinel's Horde in hand. When you target allies, advance me 1. So they have the same kind of thing. This one, which you create from Akshan. This is the first one you create. Warlord's Pass. This is going to take a while to get through. And then you create a Relic of Power when this happens. Which is... pick 1, predict, then draw 1, summon a Sandstone Charger, or grant all allies 1 attack. You know, which isn't amazing, but you get it for pretty much free. At the very least, it's discard fodder, if you want it to be, because when I'm summoned or strike, yeah, because it's or strike. Oh, it's summon a Warlord's Palace. Okay, so it comes down on board, so it's not discard fodder. The 1 mana kind of confused me there. So you will have this on board, or you could advance it 1 round if it's already in play. To level up, you've completed the countdown on Warlord's Palace. And then when he levels up, you get a Warlord's Horde. So it does have some, you know, I mean, Talia would be interesting copying Warlord's Horde, I guess. That would be quite an interesting little feat. I have no idea where you're going to play this right now. As I mentioned, I think you're going to go for the targeting allies aspect of it with like a Riven or a Tarek or a Draven. But maybe not. So, this is Sentinel's Horde, which gives you one of these 3 that we looked at the end there. So 0 mana focus, and then you get one of those 3 choices. Grappling Hook is Akshan's spell. And then we have the Absolver and the Absolver's Return. So let's just quickly talk about these. The Absolver is a burst speed spell. Give an ally +2/+1 this round. So just a combat trick. If you have leveled a champion this game, create the Absolver's Return, which is create an ally, overwhelm, and 2/1 this round. So but it also costs 2 mana. Quite an interesting little card. Giving something 2/1 is not horrible. You know, Old Pale Cascade, the stats on that, it's not the worst thing in the world. This seems like a combat trick that you will use in certain decks. You know, I'm thinking about something, you know, like Vi or something like that. You know, you can use this in interesting ways with certain champions. But I think to make this spell worth it, you will probably need to, you know, be able to get the returns somewhat reliably, which, you know, I mean, something like a Darius Shurima deck. You know, think about it, you level Darius, you can use this on Darius, but then you can use the Absolver's return on something else, you know, and give something else overwhelm, like a Kato or something, you know. You don't have to use this on the champion, so it'll be used in certain decks, I assume, as a combat trick. You know, not every deck, but certain ones. 2-1 is fine. And I don't know where to go really. Akshan, how the hell do you evaluate a card that like creates 10 more cards? It's like a Felios. It'll probably be nuts, right? Based off of Felios. So he's a 2-mana 2/2. What does that mean? Well, you might think, oh, you know, he'll just get Mystic Shot, but that actually isn't a problem. It's not necessarily that big of a problem if your 2-mana card gets a Mystic Shot. In fact, all low mana champions kind of have this advantage inherently, is that nothing can really trade against them, and obviously if they level up, they are, you know, pretty good. So all low mana champions like have that advantage, like Zoe, right? Like, sure, Zoe doesn't level up often, but essentially the worst case scenario is that she gets, you know, a Thermo Beam, and even then you trade one card for one card and 1 mana for 1 mana. So it's no loss either way. So Akshan has that inherent, you know, advantage straight away. The fact that, you know, if he gets Mystic Shot on turn 2, you know, you shrug, you go, okay, I would have liked to keep Akshan, but it's not the end of the world. And he's still giving you this Warlord's Horde, you know, whether you like it or not. And that will give, oh no, sorry, he'll give you a Warlord's Palace no matter what. And so, you know, if you, so that seems decent. That you're getting something no matter what. There is no way that Akshan can sort of be value traded off. This is kind of the same thing with Draven, with, you know, his spinning axe. You've got something from him, even if, you know, the worst case scenario happens. And if not, then of course Draven is a big threat. And I think having quick attack with sort of a, what would you call this, an archetype that sort of wants to be putting spells on units helps. You know, you're gonna be increasing Akshan's attack with, you know, gems or something like that. And so this attack could get pretty big as well. And then he becomes a threat on his own. And then you have to deal with, you know, these things, which, you know, could be, again, the flexibility is always nice. You know, this essentially becomes a later on free draw. Yes, it does take up a board space, which sometimes will matter, but again, you can always overwrite it, and it was free, so it's no big issue. So my initial opinion is that Akshan is pretty good. You know, I mean, it. I don't really know. I guess Riven Akshan probably makes the most sense. I think that, you know, that's what they showcased in the video. I think that that's probably where they thought this might go. Riven is somewhat flexible, but sort of without a home. This could become Riven's home. Sort of Akshan, Riven kind of deck. I'm just looking at sort of the Sentinel's Horde thing. Is that useful for Riven? I mean, the granting of Spell Shield and +2/2 is pretty good on Riven. Because if you give her the blade, or give anything, give another champion the blade, then that's useful. Grant all enemies vulnerable and create in hand a 0-cost copy of the strongest ally that died in game. That again could be pretty useful for Riven, to be fair, because, you know, you're normally in Riven decks looking for, you know, stuff like Ruin Runner will be a good target. You know, and imagine you get a 0-cost Ruin Runner for free. That's pretty good. At draw 2, your cards cost 1 less this round. I mean, drawing 2 is always pretty good. So yeah, Akshan seems decent. You know, you tell me what you think. I would give these cards all a pretty decent rating. They're all, none are insane, but all decent. Decent enough to, like, see play, I think. The countdown 8 is quite a while, but then you target allies, it comes down. You could probably get that down to within 5 rounds, I would say. maybe even 4, depending on your deck. I guess you could probably get that in 4. Will Akshan survive 4 rounds? Probably not. But does the strike advances it 1 round, so maybe it will come down quite quickly. Actually, it could come down by like turn 5, 6. I would assume is the average that you will see that, and it is any strike. Complete the countdown on Warlord's Palace, so he doesn't have to see the completion either. That's quite good that he doesn't have to see it, because you know you can, if you like draw a second one later on, you know. And the Warlord's Horde is gone, well then you're getting a leveled up action, and then you know the countdown is beginning on the Horde instead of the Palace. So yeah, really interesting. Have no idea why it was an hour early. Have no idea if this was like a mistake and all these cards have been revealed, you know, and they were meant to sort of be drip fed, but instead we've just got all of them. Don't know if that will mean there's no spoilers for the next couple of days. Don't know if, you know, it's just going to be crazy these next couple of weeks, but it means that we're getting more champions, and that for me is always good. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with maybe more spoilers. Who knows at this point what is going on?